Hi everyone, welcome to Xinhua Live. This is Ting with China's Xinhua News Agency. I am now on the Chongming Island, which is about 100 kilometers away from the downtown area of Shanghai. The island is home to Chinese sturgeon dreamland, one of China's largest conservation bases for Chinese sturgeon. Chinese sturgeon have existed for more than 140 million years. The size of the population of the flagship species in the Yangtze River plummeted in the late 20th century due to intrusive human activities. So how is this situation here and what efforts have been made to protect the species? During today's Xinhua Live, we will take you to find it out. So now we are joined by Zheng Yueping. Mr. Zheng, he is the Deputy Director of the Shanghai Aquatic Wildlife Conservation Center and also the Research Center. Hi, Mr. Zheng. Hi. And we also have Qumeng, and she is also the staffer of the conservation base here. Hi, Qumeng. Hi. Okay, so now let's go inside. Okay. It is our great honor to have you two to join us. So, Mr. Zheng, so can you give us a basic introduction about the Chinese sturgeon?
Chinese sturgeon is a very ancient species with a history of over 140 million years and is one of the largest fish species in the Yangtze River. In appearance, it's like a shark. The Chinese sturgeon looks like a shark, but they have no teeth. It can grow up to 4 meters longer, weight more than 500 kilograms. It could live more than 40 years old.
Okay, so on our right hand, what we can see is an overview map of our base. And can you introduce for us? So where we are, actually, we are located on the Huxun Road. And the red dot here is where we are, right? Okay.
Yes.
So this science pavilion is usually for the experiment or
experiment. Yes.
And administrative maybe.
Yes.
That kind of function. And what we are going to visit is actually this pavilion, and then the name of it is Living Yangtze Pavilion.
Yes. Yes.
And outside these two pavilions, we can see several
it's called lakes, but it's actually ponds and some artificial wetlands. We got 3 large ponds for outdoor breeding for Chinese sturgeon, and the Living Yangtze Pavilion is for indoor breeding.
Okay, and they all have the cute name. That's the famous lake in China. Like Honghu, Hongzehu, Dongtinghu, Taihu, Boyanghu. Okay, so let's get inside, shall we? Okay, so the pond you just mentioned is just on our left hand.
Yes.
Okay, so what's the name of this pond? Dingshanhu. So can we see any Chinese sturgeon inside this pond?
No, it's artificial wetland. This is artificial wetland, and what's more inside is the ponds that have sturgeon.
Okay, so what's the function of the artificial wetland?
To get the water more clean.
Prove the water quality,
Yeah.
Okay, so where we come to now is the gate of the Living Yangtze Pavilion. Okay, so let's get inside. So here we can see some information of our conservation and the research center. So what is our main task of our center?
Our center is protect the
Chinese
species, aquatic species, such like the Chinese sturgeon. And the main responsibility include species protection, resource investigation, ecological restoration, and scientific research.
And how many Chinese sturgeon are there at our conservation base? How many?
500.
Oh, more than 500. And Chimeng, could you tell us more about the conservation base? Like, so what time do this base put into operation, and what's the total area?
Where we are now is the phase 1 of the base, which was put into operation in May 2016, and covering a total area of about 56,000 square meters.
Okay, so this hole is mainly for display, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so introduce your daily work to us. I'm quite curious about that. What's your daily work like?
Actually, I'm not a like keeper here. I just do some promoting activities.
If we cross the store, we can see more like picture about the Chinese sturgeon.
Yeah.
Okay, so let's get inside. Wow, the area here actually is much bigger than I thought. Okay, so which way should we go? This way or this way?
This way.
Okay. So here we can see different sizes of the tanks. So how many sturgeon are there in the tank, in each tank?
It varies, depends on the size of the tank, and it could be 10 to 5 fishes in each tank, and the size of the tank could vary from 2.5 square meters to 225 square meters.
And as we know, the center you are in charge of like protection, breeding, and also research, right?
Yes.
So how do you rescue the Chinese sturgeon? Like how many Chinese sturgeon have you rescued in the Yangtze River estuary?
Yeah, we use human medical and veterinarian techniques like tactile ultrasound and endoscopy to save these fish and other aquatic animals. And we established a unique 323 rescue model, and it has helped us save more than 3,200 Chinese sturgeons and about 300 other aquatic animals.
We've noticed that what we can see is like a wave generator. So what is that for?
Before we release the Chinese sturgeon back into the wild, we actually spent about 6 months getting them ready. You see that? What did you mention about that spinning thing? That's a wave generator, which helps simulate waves and add oxygen to the water. We also tweak the water saltiness before setting them free and give them live bite to eat, which helps improve their chances of survival once they are out there. And when we are breeding them, we sort them into temporary tanks based on their size. Our breeders make sure they are fed the right amount at the right times.
And what kind of measures have been taken to protect like the living environment of the Chinese sturgeon? So we can see the environment here is quite like, as what you said, a dream garden for them.
We have established a management system that includes species introduction, 24-hour pond inspections, feed quality control, feeding management, water quality monitoring and regulation, disease prevention, equipment operation, and artificial wetland maintenance.
Yes, and like the Chinese sturgeon, this place is quite like a nursery for them. And after they just grow up here, so when will you release them to the wild? Like how do you like the release activities been going over the past years?
We've been releasing rare and endangered species like Chinese sturgeon, rough-skin scorpion, and Chinese sucker back into the wild since 2004, and we've released over 850,000 individuals so far. The data shows that these fish can survive and grow well in the wild.
So on our left hand, what we can see is
we can see like a display case for Chinese sturgeon and other sturgeons. The two biggest ones are Chinese sturgeon, and the other two is Russian sturgeon and Siberian sturgeon. The Yangtze River Basin is actually one of the most biodiverse places on the planet, and is often called the fish gene bank. We are talking over 400 fish species living there, including more than 360 freshwater species and over 160 and 70 species that you can only find in the Yangtze River.
And out there, what we can see is 5 different fishing tanks. It's like a different living environment.
Yeah.
So what are these fishing tanks worth for?
We know that the Yangtze River is a very long river. And it contains a variety of different ecological environments. The fishing banks simulate typical habitats in the Yangtze River Basin and nearby seas, including stream habitat, lake habitat, intertidal habitat, rocky reef habitat, and offshore habitat.
Is it looks like a rainforest?
It's stream habitat.
Stream habitat. So which fish tank is most likely the environment of the Yangtze River estuary? That one, maybe?
No, it's they have because the Yangtze River is very long.
Different kind of environment condition.
Yeah, so it got many typical.
So all of these 5 fishing tanks, the environment can be found in the Yangtze River.
Yeah, but the third one is the most likely one near here.
Okay. So it is the environment of the Yangtze River estuary.
Yeah.
Okay, so that is this one. It looks like a little bit like muddy. So if we look from this angle to the first floor, we can see different sizes of the tanks. That one is the bigger one, which is the pass them away. And here, pass them. And here are the smaller ones. So what's the different function for these tanks? This looks like the baby fish.
Yes,
right?
some of them is for experimental uses, and some are just for breeding. Based on their different body size, we have various breeding strategies for the Chinese sturgeon, so we raise them separately.
Okay. So for the big tanks, so how many fishes does each tank have? For that two, big two?
Around 50.
Okay. So that's a lot. And what's the depth of that big tanks?
I think it's 2.5 meter.
Okay. The baby fish are very cute. So, which way should we go to? We should go to this one.
Yeah.
Okay, so in this place we can even take a closer look at the Chinese sturgeon. So the length and the size of them are quite big.
Yes.
So the outer appearance looks quite like a shark. Okay, so now let's go back to the first floor. So out there we can see a new building over there. Okay, so is there any new story for the base?
The second phase of the base, that's the second phase of the base. It is just a bit of north of our phase 1.
Okay, and I know you've got a model downstairs, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's go downstairs and then take a look. Okay, be careful. Okay, so this is the model, right?
Yes.
So let me guess which building where we are. It should be like
here
this one. Okay.
Yeah,
So
here now.
this building is where we are, and the name of it is the Living Yangtze Pavilion. Okay.
And that big part is the phase 2.
Okay. So 3 of them?
Yeah.
Okay. So the phase 2, the total area is like the 3 times of the phase 1.
Yes.
Okay. So
3 times
when will it put into operation?
Our second phase is mostly complete, but it's gonna take some time before we can operate. We can offer a better home for Chinese sturgeon when it's done.
So on our back, so we can see a huge tank over there. How many Chinese sturgeon are there in this tank?
There are 5 Chinese sturgeons in this tank, and also we have hybrid sturgeon and Changjiang sturgeon, and some Chinese suckers at the bottom.
So how many meals do they have during one day? 那郑老师，他们一天吃几顿呀？这个中华区3顿啊。Okay, 3 meals. So So they like to eat like the small fish, small shrimp?
Yeah, small fish, small shrimp. And this is a hybrid sturgeon. It's kind of smaller and have sharp mouth. And this is a Chinese sturgeon. You can see there's no teeth there in their mouth.
Okay.
And this one is also a Chinese sturgeon.
So they're very tender species, for they even have no teeth in their mouth.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, Quma. Thank you. Okay, so before my visit to the Chinese sturgeon dreamland, so I've already know they have another name. The name is the giant panda of the water. So because the species is critically endangered. But after my visit today, I'm happy to see that people have done a lot of work during the protection of the Chinese sturgeon. And I'm also glad that the population is already growing. Okay, so that's all for today's Xinhua Live. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.